Today, I have a special guest named Miss Mitchell. I'm Barbara Courtney with Children of Incarcerated Parents. Uh, I met Miss Mitchell when I reached out to her, and she reached back out. I said, seen her on Camera Hall talking about uh, Girls Who Do Brunch, a organization that is dedicated to saving at-risk girls from abuse and exploitation. And I was really excited about it because I was like, wonder why she hasn't been to Kansas City. But after reaching out to her and she reached back to me and said, I have been to Kansas City. I was there last year. So I'm going to let Miss Mitchell tell us something about herself and what she's doing. I do know that she's an inspiration speaker. She's a best-selling author, and she's a producer. She had a movie come out, and I let her just finish. And I just want to say, Miss Mitchell, I thank you again for reaching back out and agreeing to this interview because I know that you have a lot to say, not only to our community, but to the world.
Oh, Queen, thank you so much. I'm honored to be here. I didn't know it was a visual interview. I thought we was going. So I look rough. I just came from the gym, but hey, y'all, hey. My name is Dr. Nicola Mitchell. I am the founder of Girls Who Brunch Tour. Like Ms. Barbara stated, I am a best-selling author. I've written 18 books. I've helped over 1,000 authors and publishers put their books out. And with Girls Who Brunch, we service over 38,000 girls worldwide. Um, we take girls arrested from the sex trade, girls in group homes, girls in foster care, and we put them with girls from a better circumstance and let them have fun, but subliminally we're teaching them at the same time. Currently, we have serviced 23 cities worldwide. We just moved up to 25. So I'm excited about that. Since the last time I spoke to you, we added on 2 more cities. And I'm just excited about the process. Like, you never know what, an idea, what can come from a sparked idea. So, for anybody, when you listen to this interview, see it, watch it, I want you to take that piece from it. I want you to realize that whatever you want to do, if it's for you, God will make it happen and He'll make it multiply and spread to the masses.
So, what made you start the Girls Brunch? What made you write a book? And even, can you talk a little bit and share with us about the movie that I believe came out last month in
Easter.
April?
Mhm. So, what made me start the program? What made me write the first book, and about the movie? Okay, I'm gonna go in that order. I started the program because I met a group of girls in Charleston, South Carolina, that were really underserved. There were things that they didn't have access to and they didn't know, and that was crazy to me in modern day United States with me being from the Caribbean. I felt that was something that a third world country of kids should be at, not kids in the United States. So I went back there. It was a big deal for me because I was a child that was a victim of rape. I've raped a couple times before I was turned 16 for. Um, I had my first daughter at 14. I got pregnant. I had her 5 days after my 15th birthday. So I was a kid that people wrote off and thought that I wasn't going to make it or prosper. So it was my duty to go back and create something for those kids. Now that moment, I didn't know what I was doing. I was freestyling. I just knew I wanted to do something for those kids. And I used the format of my book signings, my book launches, and created the program. Fast forward with rewind with the first book. I wrote my first book 15 years ago. I was in a funny relationship. He's a really good friend of mine now, but at that time I didn't care for him too much. He put me through hell and back at that time, and stuff that I was going through uh, is what you would read in a book or watching a movie. People, when I would say what was happening. They like, what? So I wrote this book about the situations I was going through. Who would have thought it would have became a bestseller? All these, it was like 8 years, 8 months later, it was a bestseller. But I use guerrilla marketing tactics. Whenever I say that, people always think I just wrote the book and it just happened. Like, no, I wrote the book and I went on a full aggressive tour that I financed myself. I was at every major literary event. And even before I had the first copy, I was on tour with the first chapter, poster size copy of the book, and postcards. And I pre-sold those books for $10. So by the time the book came out, um, everybody thought I was like on book 2, 3, whatever, and I was just on the first one. And that's I use a lot of guerrilla marketing tactics. And I wrote the first book just because I wanted to be a voice for the voiceless. I started creating fictional stories about pain, right? And I started teaching, again, subliminally teaching you reading, right? So I have a book called Poom Poom, right?
Okay.
But it's about deportation and how it's illegal to be gay in the Caribbean, right? But you don't pick up the book because you think it's sexually related, and it teaches you how to be the girl became a dance hall queen in the book, hence the name. But is teaching about that. I have a book, What Love Don't Walk Away People Do. It's about a woman who was infected with HIV by her partner. So again, I take drama, I put this stuff together, but I'm teaching you at the same time the process of how things happen and stuff. So I just use that technique with Girls Who Brunch. I did the same thing. We're having fun. We're having DJs. We having work performers. We having music and beauty lounges and all that other stuff. But I'm bringing them the who's who of women in that community. We're putting it in front of them. We're bringing in workshops, panelists. We're doing these things. But by the time that we bring the educational piece in there, they have so much fun, y'all. They're just more eager to learn because they want to win more prizes. And the movie, so the movie came because of the organization. Lifetime found me from a Reader's Digest article and wanted to do a movie about my life, which was kind of surreal to me, even still to this day as I say it, because as a writer, I know the process of pitching the story, doing those things, and I was able to get a whole entire movie, and not even just about, it's a book that I've written about my life. And from the angle of this organization, it was like God telling me that my work with the organization, because I kind of walked away from writing, wasn't in vain. Because I couldn't do both. I would still drop books, but how I was aggressively on tour and things for writing, I had to put that into the space of the nonprofit. So I think I answered all your questions.
Yes, but
Okay.
let me ask, how did you help pick Tatiana Ali to play your role?
So I did not pick Tatiana, the network did, but it was a match made in heaven. At the time, I didn't even think she was old enough to play me. And the funny part is, we're 5 days apart in real life. So she's old enough to play me, right? But
Right.
I didn't know. I would just still vision her as Ashley from The Fresh Prince, and that she's a little kid. But she did an amazing job. She has a Caribbean background as well. She's soft spoken like me, but she's so powerful, right? When you
Yes.
hear her speak and when she delivered these lines and when she's talking, you're like, she's commanding the room for you to listen. And that's the persona that I have. So it was just like, wow, this lady is me in real life, right? And we're so close now. Um, I was hearing that from people that, once projects happened, they became friends with the artists and things. But I didn't really know that that was to be true. But yeah, she is really, like, could be my sister.
Okay.
She's so down to earth, and she just even the integrity that she took for me. Like if she felt like the line didn't read like what I would say, she called me on the phone, rewrote it. There
Mhm.
was so many things that she did to make sure that she produced the best story of me
Mhm.
that I'm forever indebted and grateful to her.
That's a blessing. I'm glad to hear that. But also, even though you was born here, you are from Jamaica?
I wasn't born here. I
Born
was
here,
born.
not born here, but you was raised. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give us a little background about
Being
where you
raised,
was
born
born
in
and being
Jamaica.
raised? Yes.
Okay, yeah, I was born in Jamaica in this little city called Guyville, but I grew up in on Sigourney Drive in Jamaica before I came to America. Um, my mother, she left when I a little bit after I was born and came to
Mhm.
America, like most Caribbean people do, and when I look back at it now, how she left us still in a really good situation because it was me and my siblings. They're all older than me. The one above me is 10 years older than me.
Okay.
To break it down, like the difference in age. But she left us with a maid.
Mhm.
So for you to be able to go to another country, leave your children, like she really worked to get there. And I was doing an interview recently with this magazine in Trinidad, The Loop, and we were talking about that Caribbean experience, about how parents would leave to come to America for a better opportunity, right? And man, so I called my sister because I couldn't remember the street that we lived on before Sigourney. And she was breaking it down like, my mom started here. Like we were in well, I wasn't in a tenement yard. They were in a tenement yard first. That's like a project in America what that would equivalent to. And every year my mom would move another block away, but it was another block to a better neighborhood
Okay.
until we landed on Sigourney. And so the only thing she could do left was to come to the States to try to get a better life. And my grandmother, Carlene, I'm named after her, my middle name. She's the one who brought us here. So she just passed recently, like right before the movie came out, right before Lifetime announced it.
Hmm.
And it was just so like emotional for me because if she didn't bring me here, none of this would be possible. And like, I'm forever grateful for her too.
I'm sorry for your loss, sir, because I know that was a powerful. She still is a powerful hero in your life,
Mm-hmm.
in your siblings' life. So praise God for that.
Yeah.
Um, so, have you ever thought about taking your story and making out a play and just traveling doing a play?
My story of play,
Yes.
I'm not a playwright, child.
How?
No, I want to. I've been thinking about making my full life because the movie is just very detailed in regards to uh is very detailed in regards to my program and some things that
Mhm.
happened to me. But like people who really know me, they're like, you need a mini series to tell your whole story. So I'm thinking about using the movie to pitch for a mini series and or a book deal.
Okay.
Then I also am thinking about what else? I'm in the process of getting other books turned into movies. But a playwright, that's not my ministry.
Stay, stay in your lane, huh?
Uh-huh.
I admire everything you do, and I hope that you come back to Kansas City and we can do a brunch for the
Oh,
girls.
definitely coming back. We're definitely coming back. I think we have a tentative date. I do think we have
Yeah,
a tentative date.
October, and I'm waiting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh, Maybe we can continue to talk and plan about it.
Yeah,
So
we are.
yeah, okay, because I'm waiting. So,
Yeah, no, no, no. Is I have a gala coming up. My fundraiser is coming up in 2 weeks.
okay.
And so it's like the movie kind of took me off of that focus for that.
Okay.
But yeah, we have a celebrity basketball game in the gala. But once that's over, then I mean my teams are finalizing stuff, but I can really push to get things completed.
Okay. Uh, so did because when I seen you on Tamara Hall and you talk, you and Tatiana talked about the movie, did Tamara Hall then reach out to you? You
Yeah,
guys?
so it was a press tour for the movie.
Okay.
So Tatiana was in New York promoting the movie on like a bunch of different networks, but Tamron did ask to have me be a part of the show. So I flew in that day. I was supposed to do it virtually, but my publicist was like, no, you got to be in on ground because I had a movie premiere in Atlanta the same day. So I left the
Okay.
show, my flight was delayed, and I barely made it by the skin for the event. So I mean, my dress, I was dressed. I just
Uh-huh.
wasn't, when you take your time and get ready, it wasn't
Right.
that. But I made it. So praise God that I was there, right?
Right. Well, I just want you to know I feel honored that you reached back out to me. I'm excited about everything that you're doing. Um, and I pray that you continue with the God's blessing and touch all, not just the young girls, but young women's period, and people's life period. Um, that's very important. That's why one of the reason I reached out because I was really impressed by what you're doing and looked at what that you've been through. And it made me realize that we have so many people that's going through trauma and it's not being addressed. So I commend you about talking about it and telling your story on your journey because it's needed.
Well, number one, I thank you for even recognizing that. Sometimes when you're just working, you don't look at it as something that is inspirational. It's funny. I am a survivor, but I hate. I say I'm a conqueror. I don't like to say I'm a victim, because I feel like if those things didn't happen, I probably wouldn't be on this walk. I wouldn't have done
Yes.
these things. I think sometimes you have to go through that pain to learn how to make a purpose, and that's how I look at it. So I don't really like people sympathizing for me because I don't. I mean, the things that I went through was traumatic and it's crazy, but I praise God that
Yes.
I've healed from it. And I just want to show people who have been in my situation or worse what a healed person looks like. When
Yes.
you're healed, you're
Mhm.
that uh, attraction of love is there, right? Because when you're broken, you're put when women say, "Oh, I can't get a mate. I can't. Nobody likes me. I don't have any friends." It's because there's something within you sometimes that you don't even know that energy you're extruding out, to the world because you're hurt. So I think sometimes
Yeah.
give ourselves how to forgive the person who hurt us, so then we can move on and show people what love looks like. And that's what I want for all the girls and the women that I come across to see like this is what heal look like. I can help you get there.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you again for taking time out of your busy schedule and interview. And I know my audience will be excited as I am. And so you and it stayed with you for much success.
Thank you, Queen, and my prayers for you as well for having me.
Have a blessed evening.
You too.
Program is brought to you by the Kansas City Business Association.